Welcome. In this video, we will discuss about the China's Chang'e probe to the moon. So the thing that you have to remember when going through this video is first of all, what is Chang'e probe all about, which particular country is associated with it, and also the advancement made in the domain of space by various countries. So these are the topics which will conclude when you are discussing or when you are going through this video. So let's begin. So the first thing that we need to understand is China's Chang'e's lunar mission will become the first probe in over 4 decades to bring back samples of lunar rock from a previously unexplored portion of the moon. So this particular China's Chang'e's, it is a lunar mission. Just remember China's Chang'e. So Chang'e is actually the goddess of moon in the folklore of China. So Chang'e 5 is basically a lunar mission which is going to bring back the samples from the moon back to the earth from an presently unexplored portion of the moon. So that particular portion of the moon has not been explored yet. Early in 2019, China's Chang'e 4 probe successfully transmitted images from the far side of the moon, also referred to as the dark side. So way back last year, what they did, they transmitted the image from the dark side. So dark side of the moon, they were able to get their probe to there, which was Chang'e 4, and it was able to transmit the images. This was the first probe to land on this portion of the moon. So basically this dark side of the one which was then unexplored, it was the first probe which went and landed on this portion of the moon. So this is the history of your Chang'e 4. Right now the one which is going to be launched is the Chang'e 5. Now let's try to understand what is this mission is all about. So the goal of the mission is to land on the Mons Rumker region. So this is the name of the region. You can just remember it, Mons Rumker region of the moon, and return a 2 kg sample of the lunar rock. So 2 kg sample it is going to return with. So this is like after 4 decades, like almost in 40 years, this is the first probe which is going to the moon and going to bring back some kind of sample. Earlier in 1970s, Russia's Luna mission was the one which used to go and collect sample from the moon. So there was various Luna probe which used to go into the space and collect the sample from the moon, and that happened in 1970s. So it was almost after 40 plus years that we are going to get the first probe which is going to bring the sample back to the earth. It will do this in one lunar day. So what is the duration in which it is going to collect the sample? It is going to be the one lunar day, which is equal to 2 weeks on this earth. So 2 weeks it will go onto the moon. It will drill down the surface like there and collect the sample, 2 kg sample, and it will do this in 2 weeks time. The mission comprises a lunar orbiter. So what are all the components? So it has lunar orbiter, it has a lander, and an ascent probe that will lift the lunar samples back into the orbit and return them back to the earth. So these are the basic components of the Chang'e mission of China, which is going to be sent to collect the sample from the moon. It will have lunar orbiter, a lander, as well as an ascent probe which will help to collect the sample and lift it back into the orbit. So this is the idea, or this is the major component of the mission. Now let's also try to understand why it is important that the samples of lunar spaces are collected, like why the scientists are interested in collecting the samples from the lunar surface. So the first sample of rocks from the moon were collected during the Apollo 11 mission. This is one of the mission through which it was the first time when the man was able to land on moon. So that particular mission also collected the sample of rocks from the moon surface. In a document from 1984, NASA noted that lunar samples can help. So this is the reason why the scientists or the astrophysics, they are interested in understanding the or collecting the samples from the moon surface. So it will help to unravel some important questions in lunar science and astronomy, including the moon's age and the formation of the moon. So this is again one of the interesting question for the scientist community, that what is the moon's age, when exactly was the moon formed and how it was formed. So these questions could be answered by like analyzing the samples which are collected from the moon surface. Then the other things which could actually help the scientists to understand, or which pique the interest of scientists for the samples collected from moon, is the similarities as well as differences between the earth and the moon's geological feature and history. So basically it's more of a comparative analysis, like the kind of rocks which are present on the earth's surface versus the kind of rocks which are present on the moon surface. What is the similarities as well as differences in that regard? So that is also something which could be studied from the sample collected from the moon. And finally, to see if the moon can give scientists information about the solar system itself. So that is also one of the important question which scientists who deal with the space exploration thinks about, that how our solar system was formed, how the sun and all the planets which revolves around it was formed, what led to it. So such kind of answers could also be extracted from the samples which are collected from the moon surface. So these are the idea because of which it is important that the samples are collected. And recently, from what you have to understand over here is this is the Chang'e 5 mission of China, which is going into the unexplored portion of the moon and will bring back the sample. Just remember that, and you will be good. And also the importance of having the lunar samples collected. So I hope you understood this video. If you have any doubt, feel free to drop a comment. Thank you.